left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Ooh, good morning, Bakers. Welcome to Cake and Jake in the morning. He's Cake, I'm Jake. Sometimes that's the title of the show. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, whenever you're listening. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a good sports weekend. I know I was back in Connecticut for most of the weekend. Went to a wedding. It was a good time. Just beat a little storm that moved in. It was an outside wedding. November in Connecticut. Getting a little dangerous.
Like to live dangerously.
But everything worked out well. A good mix of high school friends and an extended group of that is a group of Boston friends I have that's all kind of mixed in a puddle. It's a good time. Nick Proch, the mailman, a.k.a. in the building, and a lot of good people. So congrats to Paul and Julie getting married, bringing us all together. Beautiful. BBD, big smile on his face. Paul, thinking about the name Paul. And you went on a ghost tour this weekend.
Yeah, no Pauls.
No Pauls. How was it?
It was good. You could drink if you want. You could say whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. Glad to hear that. Some ghost tour is a little risky.
It was lame. That's like what I like about it.
Yeah. Okay.
You embrace that, and you're golden.
Yeah, it's you know what you're getting into, and you're gonna have some highs and lows, and a lot depends on your host and your group. And
she immediately took a liking to me.
Ooh, I bet.
I'm great with moms. I don't know.
Been there. The sports this weekend, the NFL is kind of chaos mode. Just getting a lot of big upsets. The football team, Tampa Tom. I don't know, man. I think NFL is just in that kind of a mid-season swoon a little bit where it's, any given Sunday. I mean, I know it has it during the full season, but, these last 2 weeks, might have to bring up some Jakey analytics on it, but the NFL has been crazy. Sooners lost, you don't care. Baseball that we do care about, and we have Talking Baseball coming up at noon. Might have a couple special guests working on a couple things right now. I'll say a couple Talking Baseball favorites potentially could be on today's episode. And I wanted to, and I'll do this with BBD on the fly a little bit, kind of just go through the free agent class. Like we haven't done that.
Yeah.
Like and I don't know. I just think we can do it in an informative way. Everyone's talking about the shortstops. Everyone talks about starting pitching. But, I think it's, if you're a team that says I want an upgrade at catcher, how many catchers are there actually out there?
Yeah. Who are
that
the
are
guys
a
that
solution?
Yeah, even beyond free agency, the guys that you could reasonably expect there's going to be trade discussions at least.
Yeah.
And everybody gets talked about amongst the GMs.
And I mean, if I was very professional, I would have wrote down all the teams that needed people at that position, but I'll let them sort that out. You tell me what your team needs. But we got some baseball free agency news today. The big news, E-Rod, our friend Jeff Passan, I believe, was first. Do we have a Passan button?
Yeah.
Passan. I believe Passan was first. Eduardo Rodriguez, Detroit Tigers, 5-year, somewhere between $77 million and $80 million. He added to that $77 million over 5 years, and I think there's Probably a couple bonuses, incentives tied in. And there's an opt-out after 2 years. I think that's good for Erod. Like, if you're good, you might have another chance at the pie. If not, you've got a pretty good thing going on. So
You can hit the market again at 30.
good for Erod. I want to talk about that, what that means for the rest of the starting pitching, what that means for free agency. We're also kind of up against a deadline of December 1st because then the lockout kind of starts, but both sides are planning on it. It's baseball to the umpteenth degree. And speaking of baseball to the umpteenth degree, dugout mugs. Maybe mugs on some of you bugs, but there ain't no mugs on me. We're here telling you about the metal mugs today. How about this? That was me drinking out of the metal mug. I was just going to... Can I cling them? I told you guys I'm going to become a metal mug guy. I sat here and talked to Ian Happ with the Chicago Cubs metal mug in front of me and didn't reference it the whole time, and I felt really dumb. The metal mug, it's such a unique baseball gift. Warm drinks, cold drinks, they will keep them that respective temperature because that's kind of the goal. So if you're grabbing one for yourself, grab one for a coworker or family member. I told you this is going to be my signature. I think it's going to be like 2021, like Jake's with his mug. There's something in there.
Anyone's guess.
A little booze in the morning. So go grab one now. It's dugoutmugs.com. 30% off code JOMBOY. JOMBOY. That's the way we jomboy. 30% off. This is their Black Friday deal. They've been rolling it. You missed their better than Black Friday deal. Sorry.
It's pretty close.
This is close, though. So dugoutmugs.com. 30% off code JOHNBOY. The metal mug. I'm drinking out of it all episode. That's just fact. That's the facts, Max. I feel like they say Jax. Chat's going this morning. Love you guys. Saw Craig. His message got deleted because it was all caps. Say he got a second interview for a job. Good job, Craig. Some ASMR
Exciting.
references. So let's do our baseball before we get into the NFL week that was. Erod signs. And by the way, our cousin Jeff, his last tweet before that was, in an unexpected turn, shortstop Corey Seager and Marcus Semien are among players whose markets have accelerated to the point they could sign before December 1st lockout. So, I know you guys already know, but the CBA is up December 1st. All of the rumors and sources, and the more I think about this, the more mad I get, is that there's going to be a lockout from December to February, and then they'll figure it out, and then there's going to be 2 weeks of pure chaos and signings, and then it's normal spring training. Both sides have kind of referenced this, like the players and the owners.
Both like kind of shrugging and accepting that's probably how it's going to go.
Which, by the way, you hear that and you're like, oh, that's an answer. That's not. That's childish. If two children told you that, they're like, hey, we're friends. We're mad. We're going to fight for a month.
Yeah, we're going to fight for a month starting a month from now.
And then we're going to be friends again. You'd say, oh, you're little kids. That's dumb. So that's the current plan. We'll see what happens. Hey, maybe we'll get some updates before then. But we might get some signings before then because, A, organizations can kind of get their plan going. We've seen the Tigers, they traded for Tucker Barnhart. He'll be kind of like their primary catcher. Is Wilson Ramos back? I don't know. I don't think so. That was 1 year.
I think they got rid of him during the year.
But they go and get Erod, which let's do some surface level stuff. Let's do some old school baseball. 5 for 77, 5 for 80. What's the quick turkey math there per year? 15?
15-ish.
5 times 15. 60.
It's a base of like 15 and a half.
Okay. So
It's 77 like guaranteed. I don't know what the incentives are, but
Right.
it goes up to 80 with incentives, and that's virtually the same number for our purposes.
Yeah, we're around 15 million
I believe in
for
the,
5 years. I mean, 5 years is kind of the, I think, opened some eyes for Erod. I think us in the baseball community not super shocked on it because he's a left-handed pitcher that throws, and so
but not 30 yet.
not 30. He hits free agency at a good age. And he hasn't racked up a ton of miles. He he missed 2020 because of, what was it, myocarditis? He had the heart thing going on. I forget. I'm missing a syllable there. Either way, good for Erod. Where things get tricky is if you're a little too old school. Erod, his numbers don't jump out to you. He had a
traditional ace.
4.74 ERA last year. Back-to-back years, 2018, 2019, 3.82, 3.81. Which, again, I know that doesn't, wow. Like Stroman, I think his ERA this year is 3.03 or something. Like Kevin Gossman had a really nice ERA. That ERA doesn't jump out. He does have a solid FIP, field independent pitching. It was 3.32 this year. He pitches at Fenway. Fenway at times is a little league stadium. It's
Especially if you're a left-handed pitcher, you're getting more right-handed matchups.
It's literally 200 down the line.
It's really short these ways. It kind of goes forever this way.
Right, and it doesn't fully balance out. But, so, Erod, career 4.16 ERA, 856.2 innings pitched. Now, put that into context. I said he hasn't thrown a lot of innings. Go look at the Kershaws and go look at David Price. I think 2,000 innings is the, better get Mako ad. So Erod still should have mileage left on his arm. And, again, surface level Jake math. You go from Fenway to Comerica, which, just look at it. Would you look at this? Would you look at these? B, talk to any player. I think Zach Short during the live stream. I think Haps talked about hitting there. I think Plouffe has. The ball doesn't go at Comerica, and it's a big old ballpark.
You gotta really hit it.
So, you do a little mental math there. Erod had his highest K per 9 rate last year. He's going to a big old ballpark instead of Fenway. Turn a couple homers into a couple outs. Seems like it's good for Erod.
Erod, even with pitching at Fenway, not an excessive homer guy. Pretty much exactly 1 per 9 throughout his career.
Yeah.
Year after year.
The walks were always high, which is weird because we've always talked about this as Yankee fans when you face Erod, that it was just kind of but it never seemed wild.
Yeah.
Guess he just
I think
walks
it's
guys.
Nibbles.
Yeah.
Red Sox fans, let us know if that's inaccurate.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of them, but.
So, I think good for Erod. I want to go to my guy Kylie McDaniel's article, which, again, I think I talked about it on here. The numbers just seemed low to me. He is playing an impossible game. Oh, my God, what did I just click? Trying to guess what baseball free agents are going to get. Let's see where he had Erod. So he had Erod as his number 16th pitcher, 3 for 51. So he's slightly above the AAV, that's 17.
If he gets the full 80, it's a 16 per AAV.
So
he's basically nailed that, but he got 2 more years.
2 more years, which, you pay for the upfront years a little more. So, again, overall money, That felt a little light. Erod was his 16th pitcher listed. So, where things get fun, seems like the Tigers are actually going for it.
Yeah.
I know Erod
got a qualifying offer and all that. Like they're also going to give the draft compensation and whatever else.
I know Erod doesn't seem like, wow, the Tigers are going for it, but, they've been rumored for Correa, and
they have young pitchers that are supposed to be like top-end talent.
They
seem trending that way.
This means that they're going to be aggressive the rest of free agency. I don't know if that's Correa.
Doing this first.
Maybe it is. I mean, Detroit, that's a team that's baseball, those Verlander teams and Miggy Caps, those salaries, were some of the top in baseball. So we'll see. Justin Verlander is a free agent. We've heard rumors about that. You got to think one of the big infielders
gets some. They're motivated to get somebody.
Correa, just because Hinch is the manager.
Yeah,
that's never done anything for me. Managers last 3 to 5 years, if that. Correa, you're going to be signing to a 9-year deal. But yeah, the Tigers are players, which, okay, the AL Central, is that fun? I don't know. White Sox?
They can just have like two teams that are like good at the same time.
Yeah. Can the Twins bounce back? I don't think so, but
they've had that a little bit, but it's always been like by the end of the year, one team kind of ran away with it.
Yeah. So hey, if you're a Detroit sports fan, our guy Ray, good for Detroit. They are going to be in the mix all winter. This feels like the start for them, not the finish at all.
Having this be the first thing they do, it's a little bit what we talked about. The Yankees have had Verlander rumors and stuff, so it's like, if they, not that whatever you think about signing Verlander, we talked about it with the Yankees, like, but if they do that like first, that's a sign they're gonna do more.
And it feels
blow it open.
Was it the Braves last year that got like all their work done immediately?
At least they got like a bunch done real quick. Like they got
Smiley really
quick.
early. Darno, I think, was quick.
Was Morton early? Certainly, I think was earlier than most of the rest of the market.
So yeah, I guess the similarity there.
If you have the guy you want,
Erod, not necessarily the difference maker at top of the rotation, but they're hoping Casey Mize, Skubal, those guys take the lead.
He's a stabilizer as they over these next 3 years hope those guys fully establish themselves.
A really solid MLB 180 innings, which you do pay for. And like Tucker Barnhart, I know that name doesn't jump off the chart, and we're a little biased here at John Boy because he's a fan, but he's got Gold Glove. He's like an pretty much everyday catcher. Like,
you look at the state of catchers, he's right there with everybody.
They've already improved their catching situation and their starting rotation, and the offseason hasn't started for other teams.
One of those things can help the other one too.
Yeah. So interested to see what else Detroit does. Let's go into the starting pitching a little bit because I think that's the fun topic here.
Yeah. Another point on Erod specifically, as far as the starting pitch, as it connects to the starting pitching market, I believe he is like the youngest of the like free agent starting pitchers, at least that are like guys like reach 6 years of service time or free agents now, whatever.
So you're right. There's one guy who's also 29 that's an interesting case of things and stuff that I think he's the one I don't have the answer on. So Scherzer, he's going to get big money. Everyone thinks 3 years. I mean, big money. There's rumors that it's like $40 million per year. But Scherzer's kind of his own animal. We will see.
Kind of gets to just pick a point and go.
Kevin Gossman, the past 2 years has been pretty much electric. Big part of why the Giants were good. Burped in the mic. 2.81 ERA last year. 5.4 WAR. He kind of found it the season before. It was a 3.62 ERA, but he was striking out a bunch of people. Basically he did I was in Baltimore, got out of there, did a brief tour. He's been lights out with the Giants. It was assumed he's going to get more money than Erod. I would have to assume. Or it's going to land around like the same amount, but one less year. I would assume he gets more. Let's go to my guy, Kylie McDaniel. Shout out, like him. He had Gossman getting 5 years, 105. So, is that starting to get into Zach Wheeler territory? That's about 20 mil short of Corbin territory.
21 per.
I think Corbin was a little lower than that. But, that's... I guess at this point, I would guess that Kevin Gossman is going to get 9 figures. Is that the phrase?
I think so.
Nobody ever says 9 figures, right?
Yeah, I mean, just after what he's done the last 2 years, kind of 2.5 years. Yeah.
I had a weird Kevin Gossman's going to the Mets thing this morning. No actual reason why or anything, but just
felt right in your heart.
No, what it was, I saw a tweet that was like, the Mets are going to be big spenders this year. And then I was like, that's kind of right. Like, their plan was to be big spenders this year. And it's kind of, for me, if you're going to spend $18 million a year on Stroman, why wouldn't they just go like 21 for Gossman? And it's like an upgrade. So I don't know. I don't know about all that. Scherzer, we talked about. Gossman, you're looking at 9 figures for him, which that's really good money. Robbie Ray, man, this was the one that I replied to Kylie McDaniel, and I was like, hey, man, that just doesn't feel right. He's going to win the Cy Young. Has he been awarded it yet? Not yet, right?
This week they do that. Might be part of Talking Baseball today.
I think Rookie of the Year's tonight, right?
Yeah, I think each night is a different award.
I've given my full speech before. I think anyone coming into this free agency would have told you Robbie Ray is getting more than Erod, right? That's not ridiculous to say.
How often does a guy at 30, I guess he is technically over 30, but he's exactly 30.
Cy Young winner.
Coming off the Cy Young year.
Best strikeout rate.
He's always had the stuff. That's never been a question. So,
I mean, I think that dude is going to get paid. I think he's going to get more than Corbin, which was 5 for 125. And that's, again, me and Kylie had a nice conversation about it where he also admits he's guessing, and he's got to write an article.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that go into what the guess is. Like, what does he think teams are going to be willing to do?
Like other media companies, someone at ESPN goes to Kylie McDaniel and says, hey, post the free agency prices and guesses. It's brutal. Todd McShay says every year his least favorite thing he has to do is he has to do the next year's mock draft the day after that year's draft ends. And he's like, it's a nightmare. What am I supposed to do? I have nothing on it.
Everyone reads it knowing it's not going to be that it's a guess, but things are going to change over the year.
But it's like his most read article.
Yeah.
And again, how many times? This is the most I've referenced Kylie McDaniel, who does do good stuff. But so Scherzer, Gossman, Robbie Ray, I think this is huge for him. I think he's going to break the bank. I think it's Blue Jays, who have a lot of money, are going to be in the mix. I think the Angels have a lot of money who are in the mix. I mean, some of the other good teams, like don't sleep on the Astros. I don't know. Like, Robbie Ray won the Cy Young. He's a lefty. He strikes out so many batters.
Not old. I think he's been very largely healthy.
I think our guy Ottoman Sofowicz just said never spent more than 10 days on the DL. Not sure if that's true. Al Atkinson also in there checking things out. I don't know. I think Robbie Ray is going to open up the bank. Excuse me, Corbin got 6 for 140?
Sounds right.
So I just dreamed that. 5 for 125. Yeah, I mean, I think Bob's in that range.
Coming off of the Cy Young year, led baseball in innings pitched last year, and many stats. Best whip, best strikeout.
He's good.
He gives you innings.
Kershaw, no idea what's going on there. There was a whole article I read that was like, will he be a Dodger or will he not be? And everyone's like, gotta be a Dodger, or will he just retire? Or does he go to the Texas Rangers because he's from Dallas? The answer to that is nobody knows. Nobody knows. So that doesn't even tie into free agency. The guy who Kylie had with the same projected contract as Erod is also 29, also a lefty, Carlos Rodon, whose stuff this year was a lot more electric than Erod's. Rodon, you do have a pretty serious injury history. He kind of ran out of steam at the end of last year. For him, I would expect a similar contract, but shorter years. And I think the injury stuff is why there.
Yeah, maybe he can get it ticked up to the 17, 18 per, but for 3.
For 3, yeah. I mean, that...
Maybe some sort of weird team buyout thing for a 4th. I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Doesn't it? Obviously, he's a number 3 overall pick and all that. So he's always been considered good.
Right.
Just
I mean,
this year was the clear best
6'3", 245 lefty. Had a couple solid years. But yeah, and then it was like serious shoulder stuff. Like it was real injuries, not just nicked up, line drive back at him.
Like the 2 years before this, he threw 42 innings combined in 2019, 2020.
But, like, again, if you go by strictly ERA, like, he's 3.79 career ERA guy. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, his career has been a lot more solid than I think I've mentally credited him for. Like, obviously, this year he's going to get some down-ballot Cy Young votes. But
now, the fun one here... So there's another old guy that I have no idea what's going to happen with Greinke. Does Greinke know what's going to happen with Greinke? Like, he could be retired. He could go wherever he wants and do a 1-year deal. So nothing to really add with that.
Like, he's a guy kind of just say, like, 15 mil.
If he wants,
if he wants. And he's a guy who might not want to anymore.
Who knows what he wants?
In a great way. He's like the weirdest dude ever. I like it.
Steven Matz is a guy that could find some sneaky money somewhere. John Gray we've talked about a little bit. I think the only other guy, Discalfani, is interesting. It's interesting. It's Strosho. Marcus Stroman, think about all the other stuff we just said. He's got a 3.63 career ERA. He's made a bunch of starts, 1,000 innings pitched. His FIP last year, so this is where things get a little, baseball divey. He had a 3.02 ERA. That's crazy. That's crazy good. He had a 3.49 FIP, which was actually higher than Erod's. And we know people love that shit.
That is a good number.
It's still very good. And clearly Detroit believed in that. I'm very interested to see where Stroman lands. He will be 31 in May. Al Atkinson in the chat says he wants Stroman. That's the best guy to give the bag to. I'm just really interested to see where the numbers land. Because you do have to be honest. He's 5'7". He's listed 5'7", 180. I mean, you just don't... A lot of guys break... Not a lot of guys break the mold. Literally the opposite of that. A few guys break the mold. He is a short king. He is breaking the mold. He has a career of success.
It's unfair to him, but just like historically people of that stature, just that
It's brutal.
How long does it last?
Everyone in this sport falls apart.
Injuries are all part of it, and unfortunately, kind of just got to compare guys to similar guys.
I will say for him, it is a good thing that the ground ball is back in fashion a little bit.
He's like always been
he does do that, and
fields the position very well.
It's one of the crazes in MLB. He's going to get a good contract. Let me see where Kylie had him. Kylie had him just below Erod at 3 years, 48. I think Stroman's going to get 4, if not 5. This is his payday.
I think he can get a 4-year guarantee.
And I guess the other thing for me, I guess for him, I almost have him circled as this starting pitching class's Oda Rizzi, where Odo didn't really get the contract he was looking for. Then there was the injury, and then Odo got the contract he was looking for. I could see that kind of happening with Stroman. I could see teams being around it and either – I don't know.
He's kind of like within this class, at least just the way I think people look at it. He's sort of in his own tier.
Yes, I guess that's what I'm saying. I think teams are going to exalt the other options. Is that the right word? Exhaust. I think teams are going to check in on the – because I think Marcus Stroman does deserve his payday, and coming up he should be good. But I think his price tag is going to be higher, so I think teams are going to look into other players where Marcus Stroman, the team is going to almost fall in his lap, whether it's a spring training injury to a starting pitcher, which I'm not wishing, but it happens every year, or it's just like, okay,
we missed on these dudes. We got to pay.
Anaheim missed on every starting pitcher. Stroman's left. You're going to give the 4th year or the 5th year or whatever it is. So I don't know. That's full speculation. Could be wrong. Everyone around baseball says this is a good contract for baseball.
I think so.
This isn't Erod making sure he gets his payday before the lockout. No one thinks Erod got shorted today.
No.
I guess that's the win for baseball.
Yeah. And I said the last time we talked about Stroman. He really has been just very consistently good. It's kind of a weird reputation he's got there. He's had 2 down years. One of them he finishes with a 4.3 ERA. Perfectly fine.
He was 25.
At 25.
2016.
5 years ago. And the other, 3 years ago.
In that 2018 year, he was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt.
So
something's clearly, it's such a clear outlier.
Yeah.
He's been really good for a while.
No, I think there was almost an expectation thing for a little bit that he... I
have an unfair perception of him.
He was 26. He was a Blue Jay. So, we did have our Yankees kind of thing up. 33 games with a 3.09 ERA. That's no joke. You're a 26-year-old starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. I think that expectation and bar might have been slightly high. Because, his following years weren't exactly that. His following 2 years... he had the injury year. But maybe, you know what? No. Stroman's going to get paid. He deserves to get paid. I just think teams are going to look elsewhere first. New York guy. All right, so that was a little bit of the baseball talk. That kind of came out of left field. Erod signs with the Tigers.
Real contract.
Bad news for the Twins?
I think Twins
are the Twins the big losers today?
In the division, too.
I totally forgot Buxton's probably getting traded this offseason. Or not, but he should.
Yeah, or figure out the extension, but he had another. He already had IL stints and stuff.
Are Kansas City losers? They had a fun last offseason.
I think they kind of want to sign somebody.
We will see. And hey, by the way, so it's November 15th. So we've got a little over 2 weeks of, I think there's going to be some action.
It's probably going to be at least now that we got one, there's probably going to be at least one other big move.
I would guess there's going to be a few, man.
At least, conservatively.
I think on both sides, and there was some.
I thought for sure, the 1 year dudes who aren't going to factor into long term equations. I figured we'd get a bunch of those guys who want to just get it done, but
I just think there's pressure on both sides, right? If you're, we talked about on Talking Yanks, we talked about Brian Cashman, how he lays out his plan, and he's shortstop's a priority. And sometimes front offices literally, they focus all their efforts into that. And until they get that done, then they move on to the starting pitcher or whatever. If you're the Detroit Tigers in their front office and you wanted Erod, why not give him the offer that you want to give him and he's probably going to take? And now you have one less thing to worry about. You can go into the shortstop market, relief pitching, outfield, whatever else you need. So good for them. Talking baseball will be coming up at noon. Couple special guests. Oh, and a confirmed guest. So excited for that. Let's go to the foosball. Rangers beat the New Jersey Devils last night, 4-3. Robbie Scirocco's rivalry game. So that's pretty big. It's pretty big. Last I left you, we talk on Thursdays, and I said, you know what? How many times do I have to tell you guys, give Lamar Jackson respect? He just wins football games. I said anything can happen on an NFL game, but, Lamar Jackson's just going to sneak to another victory. They get beat by the Dolphins. 2-7 Dolphins, now 3-7. Tua comes in the game, and he actually looked good, and he was playing with an injury, and Dolphins are playing a much better brand of football. Ravens go to 6-3. Nobody knows who's good in the AFC. It's funny. I will never be an NFL expert. I never played football. Played a lot of Madden. When you start talking gaps and things that work and don't work, I can talk about it at a very high level. What? Dolphins beat the Ravens 22-10. Let's go by the AFC. By the way, these are your AFC standings now. The Titans are 8-2. They are the 1 seed. There is not a team with 7 wins in the AFC. The Titans are one of the stories in the sport. They beat the Saints. Trevor Simeon's back there twirling it. And the Saints had a 2-point conversion attempt to tie it. Didn't happen. But hey, we sat here a couple weeks ago when Derrick Henry got hurt and said, let's see. Tannehill's been good. Rabel's pretty well respected / kind of underrated. Hopefully getting to properly rated.
He got, when they first burst on the scene, he was getting praise, and that kind of just went away. But they've been a good team for several years, which is really hard to do. And Vrabel's been the coach for several years.
If there was other coaches that had Ryan Tannehill that had up and down years, we'd point at Tannehill. You wouldn't point at the coach. Sorry, confirming with our friend who will be joining us. Or can do a little later. I'll say video or audio or both. That'll really get him thinking. It's a him reveal. The other story in the AFC. Actually, it's not the other story. There's actually fun stories in the AFC now. How about last night? The Kansas City Chiefs win. They improved to 6-4. They roll on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs have now won 3 games. 2 of them not pretty, 1 of them pretty. And now, like, the Chiefs they're not back. But in this AFC, they are back. Like, the Chiefs are on top of the AFC West. And they've looked horrible this year. Bad. So, like, now, who's going to bet against the Chiefs? Like, if a playoff format started today, like, yeah, you could still talk yourself into the Bills. I mean, Titans, Chiefs? No Derrick Henry? I mean, gun to your loved one's head. You're probably going Chiefs, right?
They just, like, have some benefit of the doubt. Been making extended playoff runs. You have Mahomes.
It's a QB league. Kelsey was out and about last night. 6 wins, 6 straight wins for the Titans, so I guess they deserve some more love. But, so Ravens blow it. I was getting ready to peacock with the Steelers because I randomly picked the Steelers before the year. What do? They tied the Lions 16-16. No Big Ben. So it's not whatever, but hilarious that the Lions get a tie. Our guy Dan Campbell going through it. The other thing that's making me laugh now, on the side of the standings, it has their streak. You know, Chiefs has W3, won 3 straight. Steelers, it just has a 0 next to them. No streak. It should be T1, but no streak given to them. The other story in the AFC. So I was going to say the AFC has no stories. The AFC has stories now, and one of them is the New England Patriots. Have won 4 straight. They are 4-0 on the road. The Patriots are 6-4. Mac Jones is looking more and more capable. Making nice touchdown passes, like not bubble screens that go. Like Kendrick Bourne going up and getting it. Ball put up in a nice spot. Jacoby Myers gets his first NFL touchdown, which that was becoming a fun story. The Patriots are in the mix. They are easily in the playoffs as of today. They are half game back of the Bills, who are 6-3. And I think they still have 2 games with the Bills left. The Patriots are very much in the story. They had their running back go off yesterday. What's his name? Stevenson. Stevenson goes off for 100 yards.
Stevenson.
100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mac Jones, 19 for 23. 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. They beat the Browns 45-7 at home. Browns, who were supposed to be hungry. You know, Baker, they just got that nice win against the Bengals.
Everyone
Keep it
talking
rolling.
about how they're actually playing better without Odell.
Right. This was their non-Odell week. They got the Horns. Another AFC team that people are talking about just because they kind of have to are the Colts. They beat the Jaguars 23-17. Carson Wentz actually did not have a great day, especially for fantasy owners. Jonathan Taylor is becoming... I received from 3 different group chats yesterday. Will Jonathan Taylor be the number 1 pick of fantasy football next year? So, he's entered that echelon of player, which good for him. And they're winning football games. They beat the Jaguars, who they're supposed to. Carson Wentz looks like a 6 out of 10 on pretty much every play. Except 3 plays a game, he looks like it's literally me back there. It's unreal. Like, I know some guys just have stuff like that. Like, Eli used to kind of, not the exact same reputation.
There's an element of that.
Yeah.
Eli was like a little bit, like he was kind of Favrean, and he would just like try some shit every now and then.
Sure.
And he had years where it didn't work out very often, but very frequently didn't work out.
Eli was a great watch. So right now, it's Titans, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, Steelers, Patriots, Chargers in the AFC. And yeah, man, I think someone could give you a speech about the Titans being really good. I mean, Bills are good, but like Chiefs beat them in the playoffs last year. Like, Bills aren't going to get respect until they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Ravens, Lamar, we've done that a bunch of times. Steelers, people think they suck, and they might. They just tied the Lions without Big Ben. And that's my thing with Big Ben. Like, who was I watching? Rodgers. We'll get to the NFC in a second. Rodgers and Big Ben probably don't deserve to be compared right now. But some of the plays that old veteran quarterbacks that just know the game get to make are just so ridiculous. Like, there's a couple Rodgers throws yesterday where, like, full-blown run play, but no one's on the slot receiver, so he just goes up. And it's just, like, 7 yards. And just, like, imagine being a young quarterback that, like, Big Ben has that. Young quarterbacks don't. And I think that's the difference between tying the Lions and beating the Lions. Doesn't matter. Keep going down the AFC. Chargers, who, again, Poppy Gordo might have to check the receipts on that one. Vikings beat them. Dalvin Cook with a big day. Kirky does enough. Justin Jefferson's nasty. Chargers fans, they always want respect, and they just seem to do this every year.
Right when everyone's kind of right about to give them the respect.
Herbert with kind of a nothing day. So yeah, man, in the AFC right now, any given Sunday. So we get that. We've seen it the past couple weeks. Teams have been, any team can win on any given day. We get it, Jake. Shut the hell up. AFC team that scares you on a given day. I guess the Titans, they're 8-2, one of the best records in football. You'd be scared to play the Titans. Bills and Ravens, I put in the same bucket. We like Josh. We like Lamar.
You know they're good. You expect them to be good, but beatable.
Like, they don't come into town and you're like, whoa.
We don't have a chance.
Chiefs, you're still scared of them. You know there's blood in the water, but you know Tyreek Hill can do what he did last night. You know Kelsey can do what he did last night.
Against Telling Fantasy.
They're playing without Edwards-Helaire still. Maybe that's a good thing. Williams looks solid for them. Steelers don't scare you. Flat out. So, okay. Titans, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. Let's go to the next tier. Steelers, do they scare you? No. Patriots, not yet.
It's some old,
but they got Belichick
stuff. But
could the Patriots scare you more on a given day than the Bills and Ravens? I don't know. Depending how the season continues. Interesting conversation. Chargers, they just don't. Bengals, Raiders, Colts, Browns. My Broncos. Told you guys I was going to drink the Kool-Aid. And exactly what I thought would happen happened. Broncos got embarrassed at the party by the Eagles. It was actually a close game. It should have been close, and then they had a 4th-and-1 fumble. Darius Slay just dances and scores a touchdown for free. Looked like Teddy Bridgewater wasn't into it. I told myself not to drink the Kool-Aid. You guys convinced me. I got hurt again by the Denver Broncos. So the story in the AFC is, with a little less than half to go, one of the Ravens and Bills is going to turn it on, and we're going to be like, yes, that's a scary team. Titans, we will see. They've earned it, but at the same time, kind of no. Chiefs are going to be scary as long as Patrick Mahomes is standing. Patriots might find a way to be scary. The other teams, no. Now back to the fun NFC. The Green Bay Packers. So I've got a funny story from the wedding. I think I mentioned it. The Packers win. Packers win. They're now 8-2, and they have Aaron Rodgers. And they shut out the Seahawks yesterday. It was Russ's first game back. He didn't look like Russ, but
Shutting out's shutting out.
shutting out an NFL team is shutting out an NFL team. Bad conditions, Lambeau conditions. Rodgers didn't look great, too. A.J. Dillon did. Like him a lot, Boston College. Packers are 8-2. They are currently the number 1 seed. The Arizona Cardinals also 8-2. I guess the Packers have the tiebreaker there because they played heads up. I'd assume that's how it works.
Yeah.
They lose. Good for Rodgers, good for the Packers. They're going to be scary. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers, they're going to be scary throughout, no matter where they land. Arizona Cardinals, they lose to BBD and Bobby Skinner's Carolina Panthers, who improved to 5-5. Scam Newton is back. He's got his own show. He's on the mic and he's ready to go. Rushing touchdown, passing touchdown. He still didn't play the majority of quarterback in the game, which is kind of funny. It's P.J. Walker back there doing it. And it was so funny. I was picturing being P.J. Walker, and Cam comes back. And, like, there was a viral video of Cam giving the guys, like, a whole pump-up speech and stuff. And, like, if you're P.J. Walker, you got to be like, come on, man. I'm playing quarterback.
Like starring?
You're playing, like, 5 plays. I'm the quarterback. Got alphaed a little bit. Christian McCaffrey all over the field. Made a risky trade for him in fantasy. Looks like it could be paying off. He led both teams in rushing yards and receiving yards. He is that dude. Panthers. Let's see their schedule. Let's see if they can be fun. Let's see if you guys can drink tears. The Washington football team at home. Dolphins and Falcons. Okay, Panthers. Get it going, baby. Cardinals, obviously not going to judge you on this. Kyler Murray was not playing.
Murray Hopkins, both out again.
Yeah. They tried to run back the McCoy magic. Didn't happen. They got blown out 34-10. Cowboys, speaking of blowing them out. Cowboys got embarrassed at the party by my Broncos, who subsequently the Broncos lost to the Eagles this week. Falcons got destroyed. I mean, just steamrolled as much as a football team can be steamrolled. 43-3. 29-point second quarter by the Cowboys. The Cowboys, and this is, again, let's juxtapose it back to the AFC. The Cowboys are a scary team. Like, if Dak, Zeke, CD, if they do their thing on a given day, they're going to beat you. Cowboys had their Broncos hiccup. They are back. Buccaneers, they lose to the Washington football team after their bye week. I'm starting to think bye weeks are bad. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what is this?
They're not conducive to winning. It's starting to feel like, but good to get time off and injuries.
Spend time with your family. It's nice. Get healthy. I get it.
That's
but
not what we're talking about.
don't lose to the Washington football team. The 2-6 Taylor Heineke Washington football team beats Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 29-19 any given Sunday. I get it. But, I mean, what the hell was that? The Rams, they play tonight. Is that right?
They're tonight.
Rams play tonight.
And they kind of the story of the NFL this weekend, culminating tonight.
That's why Trev is in San Francisco.
Yes.
Got it. Makes more sense. I'm Trevor Plouffe.
Plain picks.
They play tonight. If they go to 8-2, they are scary. So,
and they just got Odell.
We say this about hitters in baseball. Like, sometimes it's better to be scary, a scary at bat. Like when Gary Sanchez is looking like a good Gary Sanchez, you'd rather have that than trying to think of a good comp. It's usually better with opposing teams because it's like who you want at the plate. Like we used to do Benintendi and like JD Martinez. Or it was Bogarts. I think it was Benny and Bogarts. Like Bogarts hadn't crippled the Yankees. Benintendi seemed like he always did.
Like everything he did is like a backbreaking.
Scary. Packers, Cardinals, Cowboys, Bucks, Rams. Scary. Nobody else really is. That's a lot of football teams. That's 5 scary football teams. In the AFC, there's one right now. Yeah. If we're being completely honest.
There's one, and that one isn't having a good year.
And they've been struggling all year. Now they might be back, which, watch out.
Yeah. Circle back on this in 3 weeks and see how we feel.
Bills and Ravens, you can be scary. Titans, you can be scary, but you're not there yet. Good for Carolina. If the playoffs start today, they would be in at 5-5. Saints 5-4. They lost to the Titans. Simeon back there. I mean, they gave the Titans a game, and like if they get the 2-point conversion and win an OT, we're saying, oh, Trevor Simeon's a Drew Brees light. Titans, they stink. Football's tough. Vikings, they beat the Chargers. They're a game out of the playoffs, so they're kind of fun at least. Dalvin, dude, Justin Jefferson is nasty. He is nasty. I thought there was like a conversation like, people like Jefferson, but Thielen's pretty good. Justin Jefferson's a different dude. Like I'm not a Kirk guy. I think if you traded Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams, I don't think a ton changes. Like, I think Justin Jefferson is a dude.
One of those.
Falcons are 4-5. They are such the Atlanta Falcons. It hurts. Eagles, hey, I told you guys I was drinking a little bit of Jalen Hurts Kool-Aid. You kind of saw why. He's kind of going to give your team a chance to win, and when you tie that into any given Sunday, the theme of this, that works. You take a fumble recovery on 4th and 1 to the touchdown, and now your team has a 10-point lead, and like the game feels over. Maybe it was 14 even. Niners, they play the Rams tonight, trying to make them not scary. Giants were on a bye, BBD, congrats. All the other NFC East teams won. Saw that tweet this morning. It's tough. Seahawks and Russ, they stink. We'll see if Russ can find it this year, but the rest of all the football people before the season said that roster stinks, and it looks that way. Also, their division's really good.
There's just an element of blind trust going into the year because Russ and Pete Carroll.
Right, you just say it's essentially the same thing I did with the Steelers. Like, they will find a way. This year, I don't think they are.
Russ missed so much time. I don't know how much we want to blame it on that, but it's time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if Russ didn't miss, 3-4 games, if you flip one of their losses to a win, they'd still be in playoff contention, kind of.
They'd still be like, all right, let's just go win 3 in a row. Right
now, right now they're not. Lions get the tie, 0-1. That's just...
We added the game this year, so it can still finish with 16 losses. So that's hilarious.
I mean, they've played a lot of competitive games,
particularly early. and yesterday, I'm starting to really believe in them.
Let me see. Texans on a bye, no one cares. Bears on a bye, no one cares. Giants on a bye, we care. We care. Bengals on a bye, people half care. Trying to see who I missed to make everyone happy. The Jets are the team that lost to the Bills. Facts. 45. I think at one point it was 40-3. Maybe 38-3. Yeah, sorry, Jets fans. Mike White, not the answer. It turns out Mike White, not the answer. That's kind of the football. Anything else you're thinking of, King BBD?
I was looking ahead to next week. Rams and Broncos are on the byes. Giants on Monday night is stupid. But
after the bye week.
Yeah, Bucks.
After the loss. Ugh, that's tough. That's tough. Guys, let's wrap it up early. We kind of got to start getting ready for talking baseball. Luigi Fettuccine. Thanks to everyone who's here right now. My buddies that had the 5:30 flight from Hartford to Milwaukee, they were running a pretty tight schedule. I think the flight landed in Milwaukee at...
It was a direct.
So it's to Milwaukee. So, yeah, not Green Bay, but you're in...
To Milwaukee.
Yeah.
We were saying it might be Chicago.
Right, I didn't know where it was.
I guess either way, it was going to be a drive after.
Flight got delayed 5 hours. They said they had 30 minutes of buffer. Going into this flight. Their plan had 30 minutes of wiggle room. So it got delayed 5 hours. They didn't go. So that's tough. Tough being dumb guys sometimes. But they also tried their best. And they were ready to do it. So I feel bad for them.
They did the hard part.
They really did.
They got up.
They were ready. They were ready for it. Which, speaking of, brings us to Bro of the Night. I think I'll do mine quick. I think I'll give it to Belichick. Uncle Bill's been laying in the weeds. They're 6-4 with a rookie quarterback. That doesn't happen to a lot of teams. Snack Jones is starting to look good. A lot of people were making fun of Mac Jones for that picture of him after winning the national title where he doesn't look necessarily in shape. Then he did that weird walk when he got drafted, and he was just marching pretty odd. Still don't know what that was. Mac Jones is doing it. It looks nice. AFC's open. You want to be careful. You want to be careful. Tom Brady went out one last year. Everyone was, Tom Brady. Watch out for the other guy. I think he's coming. So I'll give it to Bill Belichick. And that's exactly what he needs from me. Bro of the night.
Your seal of approval.
And I think there was a nice video of him twirling his grandkids around after the game and stuff. So that's how cute. About it? BBD.
Glossed over it a little bit because they didn't play yet. I'll go to Odell. Going to the Rams, and they lose Robert Woods, so all of a sudden that became very much a necessity. That's a big boy loss for them.
Yeah.
Now Odell kind of slides into a much more clear role there. It's all very exciting.
How quickly it turns. Yeah, he's Odell's gonna have to play and be good. Could also gone bruh to Deshaun Jackson. Made a big catch yesterday and then had a bad video game fumble. He's got a few of those.
And additionally, he was on the Rams earlier this year.
Yeah.
2 weeks after he gets cut. Also would have had a role.
I skipped comment of the day because I got distracted about my friends going to Green Bay. Guys, last episode, we had Robbie hop on with us. We did the best rivalries. Gavin Watkins, this is perhaps the most entertaining trio on John Boy Media. I mean, big whoops there. Nate Steele, excited for the individual rivalries when we get to that one day. Sure. Parker Hyde, BBD Steele of the draft. Jake, I'm disappointed. Tough. And yeah, the response was pretty good. So I appreciate you guys. I think a lot of the rivalry picks became a little Northeast. Saw Rob getting a little critique on the hockey and the high school, doubling up Northeast there.
And he went all Northeast.
He's a Northeast
guy.
guy.
Were Yanks, Sox, which nobody has any issue with. Rangers, Devils, Giants, Eagles, and then the high school.
Yeah. So,
I liked it.
Guys, we have Talking Baseball coming up at noon. Just click TikTok for some reason. High noon, I'll tell the Bakers first. High noon, Talking Baseball with my friend Jeff Passan. That is going to be awesome. Talking Giants, they did a whole bye week thing. Daniel Jones, this, that, and the other. JJTV, we're watching, we're playing. Talking Knicks went live last night. We're going to have a special NBA episode of Wake and Jake coming up Thursday with our normal NFL preview. Talking Baseball, told you about it. Farm to Fame's recording right now. Rose Rotation?
I don't think there's a new one this morning. I don't remember, but there's always something.
John Boy Media.
Tristan McKenzie last week.
Yes, Tristan.
So cool.
That is cool. Thank you, guys. We'll see you at Talking Baseball in a little bit. Party. Let's have a good week. Bake it.